IBOLC, the U.S. Army's premier school to train infantry officers. This video will be the ultimate guide on what to expect, how to prepare, and pass. First, let's talk about the weather. If you have the option to choose when you want to go to IBOLC, this is something you may want to consider. If you go during the summertime, Columbus, Georgia is really hot and humid. Temperatures will go up to 90 degrees, but the humidity will make it feel like 103. So during live fires and platoon ops weeks, you will be sweating profusely. Also, Georgia has a lot of chiggers, and I personally have been bitten hundreds of times throughout my weeks being in the field. So if you want to go make sure that you don't get bit as much and you're going during the summer, I highly recommend coating your clothes with permethrin and spraying yourself with DEET. During winter times, it'll be extremely cold because of the humidity as well. The lowest it'll go around is 37, which you'll see your breath during that time. However, there's going to be no bugs and vegetation will be less thick, making the missions and land navigation easier. I also recommend bringing hand warmers and foot warmers whenever you go out to the field. A lot of people wonder if IBOLC is a place that'll help them get in shape. I hate to break it to you, but IBOLC is not the right time or place that'll help you get fit. In fact, you will be losing a lot of muscle and a lot of weight because you will be in the field 13 weeks out of the 19 weeks in the course. So for those that are heavier, that may be a plus since you will be able to run faster. However, for those that are on the slimmer side, it will deteriorate your body. IBOLC is an extremely lower body and cardio intensive course. So start training now and focus your workouts that'll help you get better rucking up hills, sprinting with your IOTV on, improving your ankle mobility and stability, and improving your grip strength to help drag or carry the Skedcos. Also keep in mind that you need to pass the 12-mile ruck march under 3 hours and the 5-mile run under 45 minutes. So incorporate your training to pass those two tests as well. This is when you will be learning how to write a platoon level OPORD off of a company level OPORD. You will be taught all the basics in class for the first 3 days. They will then give you 1 day to create your products and brief. Those that fail the first time will be given feedback on what to do better and have a second chance to retest. If you fail a second time, you will be recycled from the course. One thing to keep in mind is that cadre all grade differently, so tailor the briefing style based on the specific cadre member that you're assigned to. When you brief, you will be briefing off of a battle board. The cadre will tell you the packing list last minute on Friday night, where you will have little time to get the materials to build your board on the weekends. What I recommend instead is getting a pre-made board on Amazon and map markers that have the standard green, blue, black, and red colors. Also be sure to get a purple marker as well. By buying everything in advance, you save yourself from scrambling last minute and wasting your weekend getting materials and making your board. If you're interested in getting a pre-made board, I'll put the Amazon link below down in the description. When creating your OPORD, you will be copying and pasting a lot of the information by hand. The only things in the OPORD that aren't copy and pasted will be the enemy sit temp, con-op, and scheme of maneuver. Those you will have to make on your own. It'll take about 16 hours total to get an OPORD completed, so expect to stay up till 1 a.m. building your product. If you want to save time and not stay up till 1, I'll have a separate video on how to create an IBOLC quality OPORD, which will be down in the description. The land nav at IBOLC will be held at Red Diamond, and you will be walking a total of around 40 to 50 miles throughout that week. My recommendation is preserve your energy and walking mileage during the practice portions. Depending on your company, we had 3 practice portions, 1 practice test, and then the actual test. So preserving your energy will be able to protect your feet from blistering, aching, and going numb. So instead, go practice for the harder points instead of trying to find all of the points. You will be tasked to find 7 points during the day and 7 points during the night. In order to pass, you need to find 5 out of 7 points for both day and night. From my experience, the course was relatively easy besides all the walking. All the points are self-correcting and also all have trails. At nighttime, some trees have loom tape or loom nails, creating a trail to get you to the points. I can't guarantee you that these will always be there, but use these to your advantage if they are. This is the time when you will volunteer or be voluntold on which weapon systems you will be using. So if you want to volunteer for the 320, the 249, or the 240, this is a good chance to do so. If you prefer the M4, I recommend volunteering as a squad or team leader position at the very beginning of the course. During BRM weeks, you will be sitting around a lot and doing nothing. This is a good time to use for self-study on tactics for the further weeks ahead. There will also be people qualifying on the saws, and Cadre will ask for secondary volunteers to qualify on the saw in case the primary saw gunner goes down. This is a good time to volunteer and get experience shooting live rounds under the saw if that's something you want. For the 320s, you won't be firing any live grenade rounds. The only 2 times is during 320 familiarization, where you will shoot chalk rounds, and during the platoon live fire, which you will also just shoot chalk rounds. For the rest of the course, you will never be shooting it. First, I recommend bringing your own sling, as they will not issue you a sling for your M4. Speaking of M4s, you must also bring your own weapons cleaning kit, as they don't provide that. Also, for those that don't like the Molly 4K that's issued them at IBOLC, I recommend getting the Molly 2K ruck, which you can get at the surplus stores down in Columbus. Also, for the summertime, I recommend buying Cry G4 field pants. They're a lot lighter than the standard summer issue pants and are more comfortable. This is more of a luxury item and it isn't a requirement, but if you're someone that wants to make their time in the field a lot less miserable, this is something definitely worth investing. I also recommend bringing jet boils or S-bits for additional nutrition, especially during weeks where you have a lot of downtime. You will be constantly eating MREs for the 19 weeks, and you'll probably get sick and tired of it. So bring a jet boil to cook up some mashed potatoes, ramen, or oatmeal. Lastly, for the field, bring Arc'teryx knee pads. These are some of the best knee pads that are comfortable, light, and don't fall off your knees. You will be kneeling a lot with your 70-pound ruck during missions, so your knees will thank you for getting those knee pads. For your taps, the standard issue Y harness is a pain to put on, as well as causing a lot of tension and pain. I recommend getting a cheap $20 H harness on Amazon. It's a complete game changer and you'll be a lot more comfortable wearing it. These are the weeks when things start picking up and get more serious. During Platoon Ops 1, depending on which company you are in, you'll be issued 9 MREs to pack in your rucks and be expected to top off on all water sources. All the water and MREs alone will add an extra 35 pounds in weight. During Platoon Ops 1, your platoon will be practicing battle drills and conducting missions. During each iteration, platoons will be at different training sites and rotate throughout the week. You will be walking with a heavy ruck up a lot of hills during this time. During Platoon Ops 2, you will be doing graded missions non-stop. This will be the hardest week besides the Leader's Forge in the course. You will be either graded as a PL or a PSG. During this week, you first conduct PCCs and PCIs around late evening and step off at midnight for your 10-mile ruck. You'll then get to your AA and be issued 9 MREs and ammo. You will continue to ruck into the AO and conduct your first mission under nods. You won't be sleeping very much during this week, and from my experience, we only slept for 1 hour every 48 hours. However, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and you feel awake due to the adrenaline running and your body constantly moving. Besides the lack of sleep, you will also not have time to eat, despite being issued all those MREs. So my recommendation is to eat quickly during times you don't expect to be moving, like when you are pulling security in the ORP during the leader's recon. Also, create a plan to quickly access all your food without having to rip open a new MRE. I suggest putting all the snacks in a Ziploc bag or in one pocket of your ruck, and put all the main meals in another bag in a pocket. Whenever you are the PL or PSG, here are some general tips to ensure you get a go on your lane. As the PL, the biggest thing to think of are these 2 things: planning and execution. Create a quick OPORD brief for your squad leaders or for your whole platoon to see. That way everyone's on the same page and knows what to do. Make sure you always have eyes on and are with the assaulting element. And whenever things don't go to plan, which they won't, be decisive. Maneuver and delegate your squad to improvise and adapt to the situation. As for the PSG, the 2 biggest things to think of is accountability and improvisation. Make sure you have full accountability of your platoon. This means counting them in and out whenever stepping off, crossing LDAs, or establishing ORPs. Another responsibility as PSG is to continuously assess and improve your security posture. Find any open gaps in the ORP. See if you can move your guys onto more advantageous terrain. Check up and see if everyone has fully loaded mag. Always continue to improve. Offensive Ops was very similar to Platoon Ops 2. We had gotten dropped off by the buses and immediately went into a security posture, setting up a hasty ORP. You will then do a long movement to the objective to set up your defensive battle positions. I recommend buying shovels and pickaxes for your squad to make the job a lot easier digging. You can most likely buy it off of the previous company that's already ahead of you. You will be digging for 48 hours straight. After the battle positions are completed, you will team up with another platoon in your company and attack the third platoon that will be acting as defense. During Urban Ops, you will be learning basic room clearing TTPs. This week is usually the most fun weeks for a lot of people. You will also be sleeping inside the buildings rather than out in the woods, which is a big morale booster for the guys. There will be a lot of sprint missions during this week to help everyone get a graded look on their patrol. Here's a video of us guys joking around at the end of Urban Ops and throwing chem lights at each other. The last event of IBOLC will be Leader's Forge. It's usually different depending on which company you are in, but it's basically like a basic training smoke session. You'll be rucking for 16 miles, conducting a company level mission, and then do a bunch of individual obstacle courses and FLRCs. However, for our company, because we had so many students that needed a go for their patrol, our Leader's Forge turned into a Platoon Ops 2 week, so we did not do any of the rucks or obstacle courses. Finally, it's all over, and everyone is pretty much wanting to go home at this point and be done with the course. You will then have 1 week left of cleaning weapons for 72 hours straight, barely sleeping. You will then do rehearsals for the graduation ceremony, and then are dismissed. And that's pretty much it on what to expect at IBOLC. Now depending on when you're watching this video, many things may have changed at IBOLC, since new commanders always come in, and the course is always adding or subtracting new things. But whether things change or not, remember to show up physically prepared, bring the right gear, and if you really want, learn tactics and TLPs in advance. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you got value. If you have any questions about IBOLC, feel free to leave it down in the comments and I'll answer any questions you might have. And be sure to check out the IBOLC TLP's OPORD video for those interested in learning. Thanks again for watching, and until next time.